Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Westerfield, my long-standing opposition to this proposal is known to you, it's known to my colleagues, and in all likelihood it's known to most of the folks in this room, so I'm going to keep my remarks brief. The value that I know that we all share, everyone who's gathered here today, is a sincere desire to keep Kentuckians out of harm's way, an earnest desire to prevent the unthinkable. However, we strongly differ on the premise, I feel like. Gun control is not and has never been the answer. Whether you call it a red flag, whether you call it an ERPO, whether you call it CAR, or any other euphemism, you're still talking about a proposal that at a bare minimum has the potential to violate at least 3 constitutional rights, in addition to due process and the presumption of innocence, which is a principle that is deeply enshrined in our American legal system. Leading up to this hearing, I have heard quite a bit about finding common ground. I respect that rationale, I understand it, but to me, our common ground is the Constitution. We've all sworn an oath to uphold it, and regardless of our differences of opinion, that's what we have to do. Now, there is little merit in debating the technical issues that may arise from this proposal, but one aspect in particular of any red flag proposal that I have always taken issue with is in terms of seizure. If you have a situation where you have multiple folks that are dwelling in the same household and a red flag is called in, when law enforcement comes to seize the firearms, do they automatically know where to find them? Are they told where to find them? Do they dig through the entirety of the house? Do they saw into the safe? Do they dig through the barns? Do they dig through the cars? Do they tear apart the Fourth Amendment in the process? I think the question then leads to where we would be in potentially a scenario to have a foot in the door for a registry. And it's also important to note that there are other folks in that household that are not implicated at all in any of this, that have the ability to have their Second Amendment rights infringed upon. So knowing that we already have a system in place that can get folks who are experiencing an acute mental health crisis access to treatment immediately, removing them from that dangerous situation instead of infringing upon our Second Amendment rights, I think that's worthy of noting. I also think, bearing in mind this value that I spoke of, the value of we all want to keep Kentuckians out of harm's way, lawmakers must seriously consider the fact that 94% of mass casualty tragedies occur in so-called gun-free zones. These are places that law-abiding citizens have been stripped of their God-given, constitutionally protected right to defend themselves. And that is precisely why these locations are chosen by those who seek to harm and destroy others. So often, we are told that we must do something. Yes, we must do something. We must fervently resist any effort to pass gun control legislation, and we must be serious about analyzing the data and putting a stop to these ineffective policies that put innocent citizens in harm's way. And we have to encourage privately held entities to do the same. That's the extent of my remarks. I appreciate your remarks and, Mr. Chairman, the opportunity to speak.